Alright, welcome to day 34 of Mastering Astral Projection. Same routine. The last exercise, the difference is smoke ring technique. I really like this technique. I've never done this one before, but basically imagine that you're standing somewhere and smoke rings are forming at the base of your feet, and they're tightly moving up, surrounding your body until they reach the top of your head, and then they move away. And I liked to imagine that I was in like a sort of tube of them, and one would come up like every 2 seconds, and I could feel myself moving downward as the smoke ring was moving upward. It really helped me get into a state of trance pretty easily. I was able to have some visions. I noticed that I was having monkey mind, but I was still able to slip into a pretty deep state and have hypnagogic experiences. I had a vision of walking through a doorway. First I opened the door, and then I realized I should have walked through that door, and then I walked through it, and I saw a vision of a young man with long hair. I don't know who it was. I think a couple others, though I don't recall exactly what they were now. So I really like this technique, and Robert Bruce actually says that it's one of his favorite techniques. He says he does it up to 5 times a day to go into trance. So there must be something to it. My dream last night, oh gosh, did I forget it now? Give me a moment. Oh yeah, that's right. It was like some sort of gay pride celebration of some sort. Well, actually, hold on. It started with me being in some store. I walked into this very large store that was kind of like a combination of F.E. Schwartz and Pottery Barn. There was just stuff everywhere, and I walked up to this woman and I said, I'm looking for something that bounces. Do you have anything that bounces? Like a ball, or anything that might be rubbery or bounces. And she was like, oh yeah, go over that direction. So I went to this other direction, and I found all these balls, different sized balls, and I was testing how well they bounced, and they had other objects too, and I was testing how everything bounced, which I thought was interesting because working with the bouncing technique, I think it kind of spurred me to work more with bouncing. So I did more with bouncing today, and I felt like my bouncing was a little bit more effective today. And then my dream changed, and I was at some sort of gay pride celebration in a place that reminded me of New Orleans, because the buildings were 2- and 3-story. There were lots of balconies, and people were partying. Lots of people dancing on the balconies, and everybody was dressed in really lavish costumes, and I was there with Mel, and we were walking around and having a good time, and I remember walking up to a particular person and discussing something with them, but at the moment I can't remember what it is now. So, but the bouncing thing I thought was interesting. So if there's anything else I wanted to go over, I think there was a couple things in the book, which I'm not really prepared to go over right now, but let me just see. We already talked about discomfort, avoid sensory deprivation, all of that stuff, trance practice, blah, blah, blah. There was a thing about sleep paralysis. So if you find yourself suddenly paralyzed, which is something that happens, it's fairly common with OBE experiences, that you are aware of your body and you're aware that you can't do anything with it. So if you find yourself paralyzed, you may have already projected but missed the OBE experience. So that means that you're doing the split. You're actually moving from your normal physical self into your energy body, but you're missing the out-of-body experience, meaning that you haven't detached from the physical energetic body. Oh, and that reminds me, yeah, he said that this is quite common when you have tingling sensations or energy rushes or body vibrations. And he says moving the big toe is actually the biggest way to break paralysis. So if you can focus on one part of your body, it doesn't necessarily have to be the toe, but that's what he suggests. Probably because he's friends with Tom Campbell and he wrote My Big Toe. That was another thing that happened today during my trance work, which is that I had another of those tingling, like somebody was pouring hot water into the top of my head and it was moving down into my torso experiences, which I think that's good that I'm actually getting more of those experiences. I actually had the feeling that I may have had the OBE and missed it, which I know that that's happened a few times to me. So anyway, yeah. Okay, I think that's about it. Oh, there are other things about going into trance. Probably talk about this next time, about falling asleep and going into trance too easily. So for now, have a great day. Thanks.